Hey everybody, this is David with Design Build Go, and today we are going to do a recap on a project that we've had here in the shop for a little bit. And we have done quite a bit to this Grenadier that I call Lucky, and it is really beautiful and probably the quietest Grenadier out there. It has a lot of unique sound deadening tricks that have been from the top all the way to the bottom, the doors, front and back, all four doors, all six doors, if you put it that way. Everything's been covered, floors, top of the ceiling, everything. So we've taken the headliners out. This truck is one of a kind, and we want to share it with you. A little bit of highlights. Coming from the front, what you can easily see is starting from the bottom where we're got some signature auto sport front skid plate, and what's important about that is it really protects the radiator lower section, which is very weak, that you see across this gridding here. This is all aluminum, so that's going to protect that area. The next feature we have is really cool, this come up winch, which is both wireless, and if you pop this open you can hook up the wired connector. Very cool. This actually has a license plate cover, so you don't see, the winch, but that's where we're at. And then you've got these Baja Design XLR 80s, which are pushing just under 10,000 lumens. And then you see the Triple R light bar, the 21-inch light bar that operates in 4 modes. So you get amber, a low white, a high white, and then a combination of amber and high white, which is 21,000 lumens. So you got 30,000 lumens up front, which is pretty significant. It's pretty awesome. So I'm going to show you what it looks like at night, because this Grenadier has 360 degree lighting, so we'll address that. Next thing is these Delta wheels. Just gorgeous wheels. They've been ceramic coated before the tires were put on. Beautiful. They're good to go. We've got the electric running boards, and if we look up here, we've got some Baja Design S2 Pros all set on each of those roof rails all the way around. And then you'll see again, we kind of come in here, look, we've got some Eibach shocks all the way around. One of the nice things is this rig has 1.7 inch front lift, 1.2 rear lift, so really balances out well. Looks fantastic. Love the stance on it. A little bit of rake still left. And then as you come to the back, we'll kind of see again the agile tire relocation kit, which again turns around this gorgeous Delta wheel. You want to see that versus the OEM kind of opposite way. We're also running 285/75 17s, which are my preference. KO3s in this case, very nice. And then you'll see as we head down, we've got a rival skid plate on the bottom here. This is brand new. This is the first units that came out of the container that just shipped in. So we got those, and then we got these Design Build Go special S2 Pros integrated rear lights. So into the bumper caps, we did a ladder delete on this one. Then as we come around, again, we've got electric running boards. Everything's looking good. This is fully ceramic coated inside and out, so this baby will shine. Still gotta do some decibel testing, so I'm gonna get the windshield clean right before I deliver it here this Sunday, and we'll be good to go. But that's just kind of a overview of the outside. The truck has, we're gonna walk through it, but the truck has a complete rival skid plate setup. Just kind of walk you through that, and it is ready to go. So we'll take a look and walk through the inside. All right, so obviously you got the electric running boards, And then we come in, we've got some, this is a beautiful saddle leather steering wheel, and also the handbrake comes equipped with that, and the passenger grab bar. So that came with it. And then we've added some of these Ocudyne thumb blockers. They're basically prevent you from pushing buttons inadvertently, but also got a really cool light that you can plug in, and that is operated directly off the door being opened. And then next we have our bullet point phone charger, which you just run your hand over and it opens, and then you set your phone in there and it'll lock it down. And then if you want to open it when it's locked, you just hit your finger over here. Pretty slick. We've routed that in. We've also got charging ports on the same circuit wired in. So you got USB and USB-C. We've got the center console from Grenadier USA in matte black. And then, let's see, owl accessory rail where you can add what you want. And then we also have the Audison sound system that's built in Germany, and that's the plug and play system. So that is pretty cool. What you'll end up with is this is the master switch for the volume of the whole system from the amplifier, and then when you push it, that gives you the sub volume, so you can turn this up and down. It is it's a game changer, and that system is pretty slick, so I will kind of walk you through that. But that gives you an idea of some of the subtle changes. Again, the whole truck has been soundproofed. And then in here, we're sitting here with this panel right here. Sits and has the amp underneath. The other side has the subwoofer. So on the passenger side, again, we have another very smooth and flush USB, USB-C port there. Those are set for continuous power, and then have a switch where if you go into a long storage mode, you can switch those off so they don't drain. And then here you'll see the subwoofer, the Audison subwoofer is there. The that's just with the seat all the way back, but to give you an example, and that amp is pushing 660 watts, so it sounds fantastic. I was listening to some music and checking the decibel level, and it will put out 113 decibels, which is significant. These are the Rosen visors. We've got a wolf box over there as well, but again, I've not unwrapped the visors. No need to do that. We'll let our customer do that. And all right, for passengers, what we've done is use a reclining bracket and knock this back, which is probably, I don't think that's like 6 or 8 degrees. It's another one of the videos that I've put out there, but it's much more comfortable sitting in the back with it just reclined that much more. All right, so headed out back, we look at what we've done back here. We've got a little grab handle to close this door, but we've got a really cool grab handle mounted in here, and that requires some reinforcement along this section and an L to the other side. And then we've also modified this bison gear to accommodate, they're usually just produce them flat, but if you see, we accommodated the inverter back there so it has a vent, and then also coming up, cut it all up, redid that. So that's an exclusive that we've done for this build. And then we've got the diabolical drawer system, and that works really nice. And then what we've done is put L-track across the top of this, and so I can just pull out this rubber and use the L-track for what we need. And then this panel comes up, you just unscrew this and get to that. And then on this side we have our compressor outlet for ARB compressor. Oops, get those out of the fingers out of there. And then this comes up, got a nice 90-degree hose connection. It just plugs right in here, so we're good to go. And then this is just the Bison gear carrier there. And then you can see we've got overland gear guys stuff. We've got the bags that fit. We've got to populate these with all kinds of fun stuff. We got medic kits. We've got all kinds of things. So whatever the customer likes, we can accommodate that. It's really slick. Rob does a good job with that stuff. So then if you come over here, what we've got is we got white, 3 different modes of white. And we come down and we look at our GP factor table. Which gives us quite a bit of serving area. And while we're cooking, we want to have different levels of white, maybe subtle, maybe a little bit more, maybe a lot more. So that gives us an idea of what we can do back here. And then our wolf box camera is over here. All right, so with the drawer pulled out, you can see we've got the same kind of matting at the bottom as this rubber matting, which is a grip. And then we've got the controller for the winch that's wired, the wireless controller, some L-track, also a quick and easy setup for a net to go over any of the L-track, so we're all set there. And then what I'll be doing tonight is adding some 1-inch foam that sits on here so we can shadow box and cut out the equipment so it won't rattle and vibrate around. So this will be a very cool. So this is the foam I mentioned we were going to insert in here, so you're able to cut it out. There's 2 1-inch sections that are laid on top of each other, so whatever you cut out of this one, you can decide if you want to go through 2 layers or just the 1 layer. But that gives you an idea of how to get it ready to shadow box. And then the other thing I forgot to mention back here is this pretty cool step that just kicks down. And so when you're stepping up, I'm not going to get it dirty, but you can step it up and grab onto this grab bar at the same time. So then you can get in the vehicle should you want to. So that's pretty slick, and it just snaps back up. So pretty cool. All right, we're going to take a quick peek underneath. But first, while we're here, we can check out this GP Factor come up winch. That thing is still super slick. Again, the Signature Auto Sport. And then start looking at the rival plates. And while we're down here, we're going to look at this Agile Fox ATS shock, the adjustable one. I think almost every truck that comes through our shop leaves with one of those. So it's a very popular item. So what you can see is in here, you see the engine and transmission skid plates, and then the fuel tank is to the left. And then you'll see there's all of the smaller control arm ones. Both differentials are covered. So very clean, and these are all paint matched to the frame. So that was not very easy. That was, I think, we had 3 different runs to match that. But at the end, it looks really slick. So, all right, so here's an example of the 360 degrees of light that we got. We've got 2 S2 Pros left, 2 S2 Pros right, 2 rear, and then the owl hidden light bar and the XLR 80s in the front. And you can see how far that carries the light. That's a pretty good ways. You can see we're even lighting up the barn from these side lights and the pile of trees over here. We're gonna burn here shortly. We're down by the creek and it's pretty dark. There's nothing else here, but we've got ample coverage. We can easily see where we're trying to walk. And I'm a good 50 feet away from the truck still. So You can see, we can see all the way down to where the creek and the waterfall are, which are at least 300 feet. So that gives you an idea. All right, here's another vantage point. The barn is 322 feet long. You can see, not only can you see past it, but there's telephone poles and other things further down. So that is pretty bright in front. And then you look, you come up the hill here. That large tree is probably about 200 feet away at least. So you can see that. And then coming from the back, you got the same, probably about 250 feet. Pretty impressive. But you can walk all of this, easy to see. This truck is gorgeous.